Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, here to give you guys a heads up on some great Steam PC game deals from our good friends at Green Man Gaming with their Lunar New Year sale. A ton of stuff. We're going to be highlighting some deals under $10. That's what we're going to start the video off. And then at the end of this video, I gotta give you guys some more expensive titles. For those of you that are getting those tax returns and you got a little bit of money to spend, boy, have I got you covered with some good deals. So we'll get to that at the end of this video. First of all, we do have Dying Light the Essentials Edition, 90% off for $2.50. The 10th Anniversary Edition is $8.40. Either route you go, both of those deals are really, really good. The base game for $2.52, though, I think that's a damn good deal. Now, you don't get the following expansion. That's somewhat of, that's a notable piece of content. Don't get me wrong. That's a notable piece of content for Dying Light 1. However, relative to what Dying Light is the following worth spending 3x of the cost of the base game? I would argue no, but you can make that opinion up for yourself. Following is a good bit of extension to Dying Light, and I recommend you to play it if you get really into the game. But again, if you're just bouncing around from game to game, is not playing the following gonna be the end of the world? I don't think so, especially when you're talking the price differential, but that's just my 2 cents. I think Dying Light is great. I did another playthrough of Dying Light before Dying Light the Beast came out. And it was, I've been going back and playing a lot of these games, by the way, that came out a decade plus ago, and it's everyone that I ended up playing again, I just appreciate these games so much more, and Dying Light was another one of those games with its world design and the verticality in the world. It just made me really appreciate this game. I don't know, whenever I play open world games, I'm just, I always think about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the lowest barometer for an open world game, and just design choices that I absolutely hate, and then when you play a game like Dying Light, it's okay, a bit more manageable, a bit more focused, and when I say a bit, I mean a lot more focused, and a lot better done in my opinion. But nonetheless, $2.52 on that, great deal, and if you want to get the 10th Anniversary Edition, again, more power to you. It's a good pickup either way. Valkyria Chronicles 4 Complete Edition is 82% off for $9. I love Valkyria Chronicles, man. It's one of those JRPG series that's really unfortunate. It hasn't really gotten a ton of traction over here stateside, or just in general. I don't know if we'll ever get a Valkyria Chronicles 5. At the very least, it would be great if we could get ports of number 2 and number 3. But it's a really well done tactics RPG, man. Great characters that are super likable, and I do feel like Valkyria Chronicles is one of those RPGs, JRPGs, I should say, that even if you're not a big fan of JRPGs, if you're not into all the weeb stuff and whatnot, I still think you could enjoy it, man. It's a good war story, likable characters, great art style, and even the gameplay is quite a bit different than your typical JRPG, so I certainly would give it a recommendation. At $9, I think it's a pretty good pickup, so definitely recommend that. Next up, now this is a JRPG I wouldn't recommend for those of you that are new to JRPGs. Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus, 84% off for $9.60. So Tokyo Xanadu I certainly would not recommend as a gateway JRPG. It's one of those games that if you're in the weeds a little bit, if you're a big JRPG guy like myself, it's one of those unsung great titles. It gets some comparisons to the Persona games. I just think whenever you compare something like Tokyo Xanadu to Persona, that sets the bar way too high because it's not that at a quality level. It's a good couple steps below that, but it's still a worthwhile game and a fundamentally well-designed JRPG with some likable characters, a pretty well-done story, and Kyoto Xanadu is coming out later this year, man, so not a bad time to play Tokyo Xanadu. $9.60 on that. Again, if you're a JRPG guy, I would say that's a good pickup. Next up, we got XCOM 2 The Collection, $8.67 on this. I talk up XCOM 2 all the time. I think the game is legitimately fantastic. Unfortunately, it was kind of a disaster on all platforms at launch, technically speaking. The game was really good as a tactics title. It definitely had its challenge, but I would say it's a fairly rewarding game. As you guys might know, tactics titles generally and I still say wouldn't be one of my favorite genres, but I loved XCOM Enemy Unknown. There was one summer, I was still in high school at this point, where for some reason I was just oh, I'm gonna play XCOM Enemy Unknown, and I got so deep into that game. This was back in the day where I was staying up until like 5 in the morning playing video games, and you know, during a summer break. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been through those moments, and like XCOM Enemy Unknown, I just have a lot of fond memories with. I never got into XCOM 2 to that level, but still a game I really did enjoy, and again, from a technical standpoint, far better now than what it was. I will give a shout to Dino Crisis. Look, it's 57% off for $425. I get it. GOG is the spot to buy these games at, given that you don't have the DRM issue. However, some people just want all their games on Steam, so Dino Crisis is revered as an all-time classic, so for $4.25, if you want it on Steam, it's discounted. It's a little bit cheaper than the discounted price on Steam directly, so good price point there. OlliOlli World is $4.35 for a little while. This game was delisted from Steam, but now it's back, and it's at a very, very cheap price point. Great colorful art style and a action platformer, so to speak, bursting with personalities, flip and flow through the vivid and vibrant world of Radlandia. In the skateboarding platformer, $4.35 on that. Then, of course, the Tomb Glazer is back at it. Once again, 82% off is Tomb Raider Definitive Survivor Trilogy for $8.90. You get Tomb Raider 2013, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Again, you guys know how I feel about these games. I think these games are absolutely fantastic. Tomb Raider is going to very much be in the news cycle in 2026 and 2027. You know, now if you're one of the few people that have never played these games, good time to go back and play them for sure. Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak is 86% off for $8.16. Look, there's a lot of Monster Hunter games that are available. Rise, if you're trying to get into the series on the cheap, I feel like this is a really good buy. You get the base game, you get the expansion. That's a lot of content, and that'll keep you busy for a while. And by the time you finish up Rise and Sunbreak, you know, the Wilds expansion will be out. Hopefully, Wilds' expansion and the Complete Edition and all that will be on sale. It would be a much, much better route to go. So $8.16 on that. Next up, we have Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Complete Edition, $4.40. Much like what I just said about Monster Hunter, you know, Digimon Time Stranger is a phenomenal JRPG. I recommend it to everyone. However, it's still $50 or so. Cyber Sleuth is still a worthwhile game to play through. Definitely not at the quality level of Time Stranger. Does not have English voice acting, which is a huge bummer, but as a turn-based RPG, it's still fairly good, and for $4.40, I think it's a pretty good pickup that I would recommend. Next up, we have Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, $8.10 on that. Guardians of the Galaxy is an awesome game that I was blown away by how much I liked this game. Maybe because we were coming off the heels of Marvel's Avengers, and I really didn't think that Guardians of the Galaxy was going to be that good, just because it had that, you know, group of characters, and I had no affinity towards the Guardians of the Galaxy. I hadn't watched the movies at that point, but ended up playing the game. Love Star-Lord as a character, love the entire cast. Really, Star-Lord and Rocket, though, were my boys. And the gameplay I thought was pretty good. I know some people were a little bit down on that, but I thought overall, man, this was a really good game. Unfortunately, we'll never get a sequel, but them's the breaks. But yeah, great game, $8.10, great pickup on that. Lastly, a couple more expensive titles that I do want to go over that are above $10. Ninja Gaiden, the Master Collection, is $17.60. This gets you Ninja Gaiden Sigma, Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, and Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. Ninja Gaiden 2 did get an upgraded release with Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. However, that still goes for like $30 alone. So with this collection, you get all 3 titles, and you're saving money. You're paying $17.60. I love Ninja Gaiden. These titles absolutely show their age. There's some wonky camera work and whatnot, but still, from a gameplay standpoint, man, it's a lot of fun, and I really did enjoy it. Definitely play through these. Play through Ninja Gaiden 4 as well. I thought Ninja Gaiden 4 was awesome, you know, when that goes on sale, or if you sign up to Game Pass, but yeah, $17.60 on that. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, $33.59. You guys know I think this is one of the greatest video games of all time, MGS3 in general, and Delta Snake Eater is a fantastic remake of Metal Gear Solid 3. One of the greatest video game theme songs of all time as well with Snake Eater, but yeah, $33.59 on that. We got SCARLET Nexus Ultimate Edition, $13.20, another one of those underrated JRPGs. You get the DLC here as well. 2 playable main characters, Yuito and Kasane, and they both have different playstyles, different narrative routes, so to speak. They weave a little bit differently, but yeah, $13.20 on this is a pretty good deal. It's not blowaway, it's not an upper echelon JRPG, but I do think it's underrated, and I think it's one worthwhile checking out. Judgment is $10.80. You know, we gotta glaze RGG a little bit. For everything bad that happens, you know, I'm gonna be an RGG diehard at the very least for their high quality games, and Judgment was a very high quality game. I love Judgment. I think this game is incredible. The gameplay is great. The story is one of the best that RGG ever put out, and the main character is super likable as well. And unlike Yakuza, it's not this daunting undertaking where, yes, a lot of these games have self-contained stories where you can enjoy them as their own titles. However, just the idea of when you start Yakuza, you have to think, oh my god, there's like 7, 8, 9 more games I gotta go through to be caught up. With Judgment, it's just Judgment and Lost Judgment, you know, not that big of an undertaking and a worthwhile game. And by the time you finish Judgment, you'll have a good experience. You could just play Judgment and be done. You can never play another RGG title if you don't want to after playing Judgment, like, because it acts as its own game. So, yeah, 1080 on that, great pickup there. And then lastly, Persona 3 Reload is 64% off for $21.60. I mean, it's a remake of Persona 3, a really good one at that. I still think the design of the Tartarus is kind of lame, but characters, story, soundtrack especially, ooh, we are cooking as far as the soundtrack is concerned. I have so many of the tracks just on my phone that I listen to regularly, but yeah, great game, $21.60 on that, great pickup for sure. Very much looking forward to the Persona 4 remake now, but that'll do it for me. Again, links to all of these deals in the description box below. If you end up buying anything, I do get an affiliate kickback, which is much appreciated. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate it if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.